and Marotta Mornings. Arizona Sports. The local sports leader. Bickley Blast.
On New Year's Eve 2019, I told my kids I had really good vibes about the year ahead. I told them 2020 was going to be the best year of their lives, and then a pandemic happened. So I'm not really good at this prediction stuff, but now I'm wondering if 2024 will live on in infamy as the worst year ever in Arizona sports. Now, I know that is a mouthful given our sorry history, but our very first NBA super team went down in flames, swept out of the first round of the playoffs. Our NHL team moved to Salt Lake City because its billionaire owner is one of the worst cheapskates on ice. Our baseball team is a muddled mess of mediocrity. And for solace, we all seem to be railing around an NFL team that won all of 4 games last year. Now, the Diamondbacks are not to blame. They did everything necessary to ensure a successful encore, and their rash of injuries have demanded both patience and empathy. But over the weekend, Merrill Kelly said he will not be back until the middle of August. Gabriel Moreno is now on the injured list, and from the impotent offense to the struggles to find them on TV over the weekend, the frustration is growing heavy around our baseball team. Now remember, I was also the one who predicted Lit City back when the Suns and Cardinals were dominating, and last October, I truly believed the D-backs and the Suns might win back-to-back titles. And then you have to remember, this is Phoenix, Arizona, where championships are like the monsoons that never arrive, where you are guaranteed to find a dark lining in even the most silver of clouds. All right, today's Bickley Blast brought to you by my great friends at Chapman BMW, who make luxury attainable. Find them online at chapmanbmw.com.
I got a kick out of that opening.
Thank you. I did. It's a true story. New Year's Eve 2019. Gathered my kids around and said, I got a really good feeling about this year ahead. They still kill me for that prediction. So, Dad, how did 2020 work out for us? Oh, great, yeah.
It drew you closer as a family.
Sure. I had a similar moment. I remember exactly where I was standing in my apartment at the time with Jordan and just talking to him and being like, you know what? With us, with work, with your job, man, everything has just really come together.
Right, and then boom!
And then 3 months later, everybody's, oh, man, I'm not going to have a job anymore.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
Listen.
That was me.
Yeah, and so I guess you can say at least we hung on through 2020, but man, these sports years do not get any easier.
Can I add more to your misery?
Sure.
And I did this research a while back, and I haven't shared it yet. Can we throw ASU into the mix?
Certainly can. Probably the worst. We are rock bottom for ASU sports.
I think it is, and there's reasons to be excited. What Bobby Hurley did in recruiting, what Kenny Dillingham is doing, and the belief that he's generating about that program. But you cannot ignore what just happened athletically for Arizona State University. In men's athletics, and I'm talking about teams that have, or programs, universities that have Division I football, basketball, and baseball. This is just on the men's side.
Okay.
There are only 4 Power 5 schools that have all 3 of those that missed a bowl game, the NCAA tournament in basketball and baseball. ASU is one of the 4.
Uh-huh.
The other 3 are Cincinnati, Pittsburgh, and Stanford.
Wow.
Then you add the top 2 eyeball, drawing sports
Revenue
on the women's side in basketball and softball.
Okay.
They both finished with one of their worst records in recent memory.
Then you throw the fact that the Mercury seemed to have a shot at Caitlin Clark in the draft lottery. Yep. It's all been a bunch of crap.
Bailey, go find that moment.
Jared. But unlike Jarrett, Bailey doesn't have a poop file with comments.
Not yet.
Yeah. Well, Bailey, if you're gonna fill in on this show,
you probably should have one.
Yeah.
Oh, he's logging in now.
I'm sure that's the first thing that Jarrett.
So
again, you trained him. Okay.
And I felt this way when the news about the land auction came around, even though I was not very surprised at the fact that this kind of blew up in the Coyotes' face, right? But I was really surprised at the end of yesterday's baseball game, the way I felt for somebody who thought, okay, just get one of these 3 games in Philly and I'm going to be good. And I wasn't. And I wasn't good because I thought Sunday's game was winnable. Certainly they got enough pitching against a lineup like Philadelphia to win that game, and to wait into the 9th inning with a series of pinch hitters to even mount the slightest of rallies. I just walked away from that feeling like the baseball team adopted my mentality.
Well,
that they got their victory on Friday and said, we're good.
Yeah, but frustrated Diamondbacks fans will point at the days off thing again. Corbin Carroll wasn't in the lineup yesterday. And again, Corbin Carroll has been up and down. But what was the reason why they mounted something in the 9th inning? They had their better hitters coming up. Even though Carroll made out, he hit the ball hard and advanced a runner. Jock Peterson hits lefties now. I don't know why he's not in there more. Ketel Marte got a day off.
Yeah. No, listen, it was, right.
During the series?
Yes. So was the lefty on lefty the reason for Corbin?
I assume so.
It's not that way for Ketel. I mean, clearly he's a switch hitter.
They have a day off today.
Yeah, look, you know me in that. That is the place where there are a couple places where the Diamondbacks lose me from a schematic standpoint and a strategy standpoint, and that is definitely one of them. I do not believe, and again, I am not a superstitious guy, but I know that baseball players are, and I will die on the hill that if you sit a baseball player down for his own good during it doesn't even have to be a hot streak. It just has to be a good streak. That baseball player is going to convince himself that day off has just ruined his mojo. And the fact that the team looks over that psychological dynamic because of their analytics, it makes me feel angry, but it also makes me feel that if you're going to be convicted to analytics, then that's what you have to do. You have to be convicted to it. You have to be convicted to the process. It's not a sometimes thing. But there's some stuff like that I just don't get. Yes. I do not believe every game is built the same. I do not believe every game is 1 of 162. I do not. I think there are moments that are bigger. There are moments that transcend. There are moments when you roll your best players out there, even if they are on fumes.
Yes.
But that's me.
Until that level of thinking bleeds its way into employers all across the United States that aren't baseball. Yeah, I'm looking at radio. We get days off just for workload. I'm going to be against it. I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
You don't mess with a streak. You don't mess with a player who's hot. And I was talking to my kids about this yesterday. In our lifetimes, not too long ago, seemingly, Cal Ripken played in like 2,500 straight baseball games.
Yeah.
That is a record that won't even be breathed on.
No, it won't be. No.
And there are players that would love to go for that record.
Mm-hmm.
But they're almost. I mean, what's the current longest consecutive game streak for the Diamondbacks right now? Do we know? I don't think anybody's going to reach 500 ever again.
Yeah, no, that's a great point.
500, that's 3+ seasons. That's not going to happen.
No, you're right. No one's even. Yeah, you're right. No one's going to come within 5 miles of that Cal Ripken mark. You're absolutely right, because that's not considered smart anymore. But I think the other side of it isn't smart either. I think there are times when you treat games with the importance that they are, and players will adapt to that. I don't get it.
Well,
here's
here's where it doesn't line up, because the thinking now, and they talked about this on one of the online broadcasts that the Diamondbacks were on, about how the Dodgers are just built to win the division. The way they're constructed, the finances they have at their ready, they are going to be the favorite every year to win the division. So your mindset becomes, you just got to get in. The Diamondbacks proved that last year. They moonwalked into the playoffs and then, came within 3 games of winning a World Series title. So when that is the goal, just getting in, just getting an invitation to the party, and then you're given all those days off, it can get frustrating and confusing.
Yeah, no, yes, definitely with all of that. And so, like, for a guy like Corbin Carroll, even if you're going up against a pitcher, a left-handed starter, you might think it's a good idea to sit him down, but to me, in my mind, You've got a rubber game in a city in a series like the Phillies, and you're willfully not putting your best players out there. What are you telling that player? You're telling that player that, okay, either this is a prescribed day off or you're just not good enough against lefties right now. I just think that you're not lifting or empowering your team. I think the thing you do is you roll your best lineup out there and you challenge them. And you say, yeah, you might be facing a left-handed starter. Yeah, you might be tired. But I'm leaning on you.
Yeah, they had 3 hits against the lefty. They couldn't have done worse.
That's what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. And it's part of the reason why yesterday was just so frustrating to me. Yeah. Even though I thought I had house money. Saturday happened. Okay, was anybody surprised that they got their doors blown off on Saturday?
No.
I wasn't.
No.
And again, Tommy Henry, great kid. He was a great interview late last week for us. I don't know what's happened to him. Major league hitters are treating him like he's a piñata.
Mm-hmm. And that's to say not very nice.
Yeah, that is.
Tommy Henry's not filled with candy either.
Thanks for watching Bickley and Marotta. Click to see the latest Bickley Blast and hit the button in the middle to subscribe to Arizona Sports.